God is dead. These three words shook the world, and they came from one man, Friedrich Nietzsche. To many, it sounded like blasphemy, madness, a declaration of war against everything sacred. But to Nietzsche, it was a warning that the world was about to lose something far more dangerous than religion, meaning. He wasn't trying to destroy faith. He was trying to show us what happens when men lose direction, when morality becomes a game, and when society rewards weakness over strength. You see, Nietzsche wasn't a rebel for rebellion's sake. He was a man who saw through the illusions, the comforting lies we tell ourselves to avoid facing hard truths. And the truth is this: most people are not living. They're drifting, they're pretending, they're lying to themselves to avoid the pain of becoming who they really are. Nietzsche didn't want followers. He wanted people to wake up, to become strong, to suffer with purpose, to rise, not because life is easy, but because life is brutal, and you were made to endure it. This video is not for the soft-hearted. It's not for the man who wants validation or pity. It's for the man who's ready to face the fire, who wants to live by the hard, raw, and liberating truths of one of the most powerful thinkers in history. Because Nietzsche didn't just write quotes, he lived war, the war within the soul, and now, so must you. To Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." Most people never truly live. They exist. They copy. They echo the voices of others, adopt identities handed to them by family, society, or culture, and wear them like masks, never daring to look beneath. But Nietzsche didn't believe in masks. He believed in fire, the kind that burns away illusion and reveals what lies beneath. To become who you are is not a motivational slogan. It's a challenge, a confrontation, a call to war with the false self. You see, Nietzsche understood that the self isn't something you're simply born with. It's something you must forge. And forging requires struggle, solitude, and the courage to reject comfort. He believed most people would rather be accepted than authentic. They imitate trends, beliefs, even personalities that win approval. But imitation is slow death. When you choose to fit in, you begin the quiet process of erasing yourself. Nietzsche's message is clear. Stop asking for permission. Stop looking for models. Stop waiting for someone else to define you. You were not born to follow the crowd. You were not built to live safely inside the expectations of others. You were created with the potential to become something utterly original, a version of yourself so rare and powerful that it will disturb the mediocre, offend the shallow, and inspire the few who are also fighting to become real. The path is not easy. It requires that you let go of old identities, outgrow people who want you small, and walk alone when necessary. But the reward is the most dangerous and beautiful thing you can ever claim, a life that is truly your own. So ask yourself, not once, but every day, am I becoming more of who I truly am? Or am I just perfecting my disguise? Ask yourself daily, am I becoming more of myself or just a better copy of someone else? 3. Nietzsche said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." We live in a time where pain is seen as something to be avoided at all costs, where people reach for distractions the moment discomfort creeps in, scrolling endlessly, numbing themselves, medicating their unease with comfort and convenience. But Friedrich Nietzsche saw pain differently. He saw it not as something to run from, but as the very forge where strength is born. To him, suffering was not a curse, it was the crucible. It was the test, the trial, the fire that burns away weakness and reveals what you're truly made of. Think about your worst moments, the betrayal that shattered your trust, the failure that made you question everything, the loss that left you hollow. Most people look at those moments and see trauma. Nietzsche looked at them and saw transformation. He believed that adversity isn't there to crush you, it's there to wake you up. Because only through struggle do we discover what lies beneath our surface. Only through challenge do we uncover our real power. Weak men avoid pain. They build their lives around safety. They refuse risk, avoid confrontation, and seek the easy road. But the easy road doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to regret. It leads to a life half-lived. The strong man, the Nietzschean man, doesn't just endure suffering. He uses it. He lets it teach him, sharpen him, humble him, and forge him into something greater. His scars aren't signs of defeat. They're evidence that he refused to break. When Nietzsche said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," he wasn't speaking from theory. He was speaking from experience. His life was filled with chronic illness, isolation, heartbreak, and rejection. Yet out of that suffering came some of the most powerful, enduring philosophy the world has ever seen. He didn't escape his pain. He transformed it into wisdom. And he challenged us to do the same. Stop asking for life to be easy. Stop hoping things will go your way. Instead, become the kind of man who is so unshakable, so deeply rooted in purpose, that even when life burns everything down, you emerge from the ashes stronger than before. Because pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the voice that says, "You're not done yet. There is more strength inside you. Keep going." So when the storm comes, and it will, remember Nietzsche's words. Let them echo in your soul like a war drum. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Then stand up, face the chaos, and become the man your pain is calling you to be. 4. Nietzsche said, "When you look into the abyss also looks into you." Self-awareness is not a feel-good trend. It's not a buzzword for social media. It's a dangerous and demanding journey, a descent into the depths of who you really are. And Nietzsche, more than any philosopher of his time, knew the cost of looking too closely at the truth. When he warned, "If you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you," he wasn't speaking in metaphors. He was delivering a warning to anyone brave enough to explore the darker corners of existence. What is the abyss? It's the raw, untamed, often terrifying part of reality, the suffering of the world, the cruelty of others, the chaos that lurks behind order. But it's also the part of yourself that you try to keep hidden. It's the rage you deny, the envy you suppress, the bitterness that creeps in when no one is watching. It's the part of you that is capable of everything you hate in others. And the moment you look into that darkness, into that abyss, you begin to realize a hard truth. It's not separate from you. It is you. Most people are terrified to confront this. They live their whole lives pretending they are good simply because they haven't been tested. But Nietzsche didn't respect illusions. He believed growth begins when you stop lying to yourself, when you stop projecting evil onto the world and start acknowledging the war that exists within your own soul. You are not only capable of light, you are capable of darkness. And until you accept that, you'll never be free. But there's a gift hidden in this confrontation, because when you look into the abyss, not to fall, but to understand, you gain clarity. You stop being shocked by human behavior. You stop being blind to manipulation, to your own self-deception, to the masks people wear. You begin to see the world not through the eyes of a child, but through the eyes of a warrior. And more importantly, you begin to take responsibility, not just for your actions, but for your nature. Nietzsche wasn't telling you to glorify your darkness. He wasn't asking you to become the monster. He was urging you to face it so you can master it. Because true power is not in pretending to be pure. True power is knowing how dangerous you are and choosing discipline over chaos, choosing restraint over violence, choosing creation over destruction. So the next time you feel the rage, the jealousy, the weakness creeping in, don't run. Don't shame yourself. Stare it down. Gaze into the abyss. Know it. And when it gazes back, when it tries to pull you in, you'll have a choice. And that's what makes you strong. Not the absence of darkness, but the decision to rise above it. This is what Nietzsche meant. Not fear the abyss, but confront it. And in doing so, Become the kind of man who can walk through hell and never lose his soul. 5. Nietzsche said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. The pull of the crowd is one of the most powerful forces in human life. The tribe offers safety, belonging, and approval. It's a source of comfort in a confusing world, promising us identity and a sense of purpose through conformity. From the earliest days of humanity, the tribe has been essential for survival. Humans depended on groups for protection, food, and social order. But that very dependence also came with a price. Nietzsche understood this price more clearly than most. He recognized that the tribe's demand for conformity is a subtle form of control. The tribe does not want you to be powerful or free. It wants you to be obedient, manageable, predictable. It wants you to think the way it thinks, believe what it believes, and live within the lines it draws. Because a group of individuals who all think and act differently is a chaotic, unstable entity, dangerous for the tribe's cohesion and dominance. The consequence is that the individual is constantly under pressure to surrender their unique identity and ambitions. The tribe offers acceptance, but only if you fit the mold. Step outside of it, and you face rejection, ridicule, and isolation. The tribe does not tolerate outliers or rebels because they threaten the fragile order. For Nietzsche, this pressure to conform is the greatest challenge a person faces on the path to greatness. It is the fight to preserve one's individuality in a world that demands sameness. This struggle is as old as humanity itself. The world's greatest thinkers, artists, philosophers, and leaders all faced it. They lived lives marked by loneliness and misunderstanding because they refused to surrender their vision or voice. Nietzsche's call is for rebellion, not rebellion for chaos's sake, but rebellion for truth's sake. To rebel against the herd mentality, against blind obedience, against the numbing comfort of following the crowd, to dare to think differently, to speak your own truth, and to live according to your own values, even if it means standing alone. This kind of courage is not easy. It's terrifying. It means accepting loneliness and risking rejection. It means losing the easy approval of the masses. It means facing criticism from those who cling to safety and familiarity. But it also means gaining something far greater: freedom. Freedom is not just the absence of chains, but the presence of power over yourself. When you think for yourself, you reclaim your mind. When you speak your truth, you reclaim your voice. When you live authentically, you reclaim your soul. The tribe may never understand you. It may call you arrogant, strange, or dangerous, but your refusal to conform is your greatest strength. Nietzsche understood that the price of this freedom is often solitude. But solitude is not weakness, it is strength. It is the crucible in which character, wisdom, and greatness are forged. To walk alone is to walk with clarity, purpose, and power no crowd can offer. If you find yourself constantly seeking permission to be who you are, permission to speak, to act, to live, then you are living in captivity. You are owned by the tribe's expectations, and you are giving away your freedom. But if you choose to stand firm, to resist the pull of the crowd, and to live your truth no matter the cost, you become a force of nature. You become the man who carves his own path, who writes his own story, who defines his own meaning in a world desperate to box him in. This is the essence of Nietzsche's warning and his promise. The individual must struggle, always struggle, to avoid being overwhelmed by the tribe. But in that struggle lies the birth of greatness. The man who dares to be himself, even when it means walking alone, finds a power and freedom the crowd will never know, and in that freedom he becomes truly alive. Friedrich Nietzsche wasn't interested in making you feel comfortable or giving you easy answers. He wasn't here to offer hollow positivity or polite lies that soothe, but ultimately deceive. His mission was far more radical and urgent, to shake you awake from the fog of complacency and illusion. Nietzsche wanted to strip away every mask you hide behind, every weakness, every lie you tell yourself, and force you to face life with unflinching honesty and an unbreakable will. He understood better than anyone that life is harsh, unforgiving, and relentless. And he believed that you, as a person, should be just as unyielding. Every line he wrote, every idea he shared, was a call to power. Not the kind of power that dominates others, but the power to become more real, more raw, more dangerous, and ultimately, more alive. Nietzsche's words are not comfort. They are armor. They are the tools to build resilience, clarity, and strength in a world that will try to break you down at every turn. When the storms of life hit, and they will, you won't crumble like so many others do, because you will have taken Nietzsche's truth deep into your bones. Pain is not the enemy. It is the path. Truth is not negotiable. It is your weapon. And above all, the mission to become who you truly are, that sacred, fierce, imperfect self, is the only mission that truly matters. So remember his words. Study them. Let them forge you. When the world pushes back, when those around you fall apart under pressure, you will stand tall, unshaken, and unafraid. Nietzsche knew this truth, and now you do too. It's your turn to live it.